these are my memories of mixtapes. So my earliest memory of mixtapes is my 8th birthday, when my parents bought me a tape recorder, and it was like a top-loading cassette with a row of buttons underneath, and you could record things, and so your voices and that kind of thing, but also music. And along with the gift of the tape recorder, Mum had made me a mixtape. I had a little chat to her about this. She said that she thinks she probably recorded off the radio, but she couldn't quite remember. So this would be about 1987. I can remember only 2 songs that were on that tape. One of them was It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want To, which was quite an old song, I suppose, in 1987, but it would have been a sort of thing that my mum would have liked. And also I think maybe she put it on there because it was about a birthday party and the tape was a present for a birthday. I don't know, I'm not sure. But the other one was Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder, which is a song that I've really just loved ever since and listened to quite regularly. So that was quite nice to remember. And when I started thinking about what kind of equipment there was, I'm a bit of an audiophile, so I collect vintage audio equipment, and also it just got me thinking about all the different kinds of equipment that I've had over the years and what age I was when I got those different things. But that was my very first thing. I had a chat with Dad as well and see if he could remember the exact make and model of it, but he honestly was a bit he really couldn't remember at all what he'd bought. He felt like it might have been a Sony anyway, but there we are. And I had a lot of fun with that tape recorder, and I taped a lot of my own voice and a lot of my own silliness onto tapes, playing with my friends and my cousins, so making up stories or making up radio shows or making up songs and that kind of thing, and recording those. And then after that I had a big sort of ghetto blaster type cassette player that I got, I think, probably for my 10th birthday, so you're talking a couple of years later, and it was a double cassette, I remember, and it was blue, and we bought it from Boots, and there was a deal that you could have a free cassette of your choice to go with that. And that was my first proper album that I ever bought of songs, and it was the soundtrack to Dirty Dancing, which I absolutely loved and still love and played and over because it was the only proper real cassette that I had. It had a radio on it as well, this one. I remember it having a radio and an aerial that you had to pull out, big long aerial. And that one I definitely did do the recording of the top 40 chart on a Sunday, although not every song, because I didn't like every song, so I would, sit there poised to record and then stop recording things that I didn't want on there. And it would be you'd have the door shut and you would tell people to not come in, and so you didn't break your concentration about what you were trying to do. And so I listened to those a lot. I listened to music a lot when I was a child, in my room, when I was doing whatever. If I was playing with other things or doing other things, homework and things like that, I would be listening to music all the time. And to be honest, music was a huge thing in our family. Both my parents are big fans of music and various different bands and things. So, it's not surprising, I think, probably that we all grew up to be big fans as well. Later on from then, I would have got a Walkman at some point, and I think I got a Walkman when I went to secondary school. So in Norfolk, the secondary schools started when you're in year 9, because we had a middle school system. So I would have been in year 9, so I would have been 13, and I would make the mixtapes off the radio on the Sunday night and then I would have that tape to listen to on my Walkman on the way to school and the way home from school every day. Sometimes on my bike, sometimes on the bus, sometimes I walked. And then as I got a bit older, I think probably, thinking now, I must have been about 14 maybe, so maybe not that much longer after that, I got a hi-fi stacking system, which was the coolest thing ever. So the bottom of it was the CD player, so that was my first CD player, and then there was a double cassette, and there was a radio, and then at the top there was a record player. So this was a bit of a new thing, records, but there was a record player on the top, which my dad thought was a bit old-fashioned for me to want, but I had started to collect vinyl at that point, about 14, 15 years old, so I wanted something to play it on, and he wasn't going to let me anywhere near his proper vinyl and his proper record player, so he got me one.